Here's the completed bigger bartop arcade build I just finished. They're never really finished, but for now, this is about where we're at, and I'm pretty happy with it. So a quick walkthrough. I don't have the tools to cut large planks of wood, so a buddy of mine did the original cut sheet. I gave him my plans. He cut it for me, brought it over here, then I started putting it together, painting it, and getting it all taken care of here. So I'll just walk through real quick. The original plan is for, again, a bar top, but I wanted to go bigger. So the original bar top was supposed to have a 19-inch monitor. This is a 32-inch HD monitor. So the bar top, if you will, got quite a bit bigger. It's more now like a tabletop. Let me walk through it real quick. So again, 32-inch TV. And it's again an HD TV. Nothing fancy, no 4K or anything, just a standard 1080p TV. Down here in the front, we have a USB port, which goes back to the computer, which is running the system. Up top, we have your 8-button configuration for player 1 and for player 2. If you notice, I did a standard Xbox, A, B, X, Y setup. So you have A, B, X, Y, left, right trigger, right trigger, and then your control. I have a T-rated amp. It outputs a little under 100 watts, so it's very powerful, really good. And I like being able to control as I'm playing. I can just reach over and control. You have your player 1 button, player 2, and then your insert coin buttons. And again, the same thing on this side. On the sides of the cabinet, you can see we have buttons here. These are for pinball flipper control. So I have one there and one here. And again, that's for pinball flipper control. When you're playing pinball, I have a script that runs where basically this controls everything. This is your standard buttons to control the game. This controller actually becomes your plunger. By pulling back and letting go, it'll actually release the ball. And then again, your right flipper, left flipper. If we continue on this side, you can see here we have a wall plate that I've mounted to the side of the cabinet. And what I did here was we put in a HDMI 1, HDMI 2, a external Cat 5 so you can plug in, and then an additional USB 3. This way, if somebody comes over with a Raspberry Pi or a PlayStation or something, we can just plug in, switch the TV input, and then they'll be able to play on the TV. Moving up to the top, we have 2 strips of aluminum 90 degree, and then 2 cut pieces of plexiglass, which is for the marquee. And again, behind here is an LED that goes across, and we can turn on and off to light up the marquee. I'm waiting for the art. Once the art comes here, I'll put the art in, and then you'll have a backlit marquee. I think I'm gonna name it Supercade. So up top will say something to the effect of Supercade with some kind of art. So we'll do that. Also, speaking of plexiglass, if you look down here at an angle, you can kind of see here, covering the screen and protecting the screen from pokey fingers or drinks or whatever is actually plexiglass. This way, when kids are playing or something happens and they go, oh man, it's not actually gonna hurt it. So that was a thought, because again, if we just had the standard screen, you could end up breaking the actual TV screen. So I put a whole thing of plexi around it to protect the screen. Let's move to the back here and then go to the top. Up top, we have an exhaust port, and that's controlled on the inside. You can turn it on or off to keep the inside nice and cool. Here we have a lock, and you can lock the actual back cabinet door. Down at the bottom, I put in a standard, industry standard power supply, which is standard computer type. You can throw the switch, turn the whole system off. Now we'll go ahead and open up the inside here. I have this little flashlight so we can see better. So let's see here. It's like the flashlight's dead. That's okay. So in here we have the PC mounted here, so this doesn't move. The actual motherboard tray is mounted to the EMDF on the bottom. Over here we can see from the export or external ports I talked about earlier, your Cat 5 coming in, your HDMI and USB which loop back into the machine in the back. This is a 1050 Ti video card. The motherboard is an old motherboard from 2008 that I had in storage in the garage. Pulled it out, swapped in a new watch battery, and she fired right up. Threw on a quiet Noctua fan, and it's good to go. On this side over here, we can see two hard drives. One of them's a 320 gig Scorpio Black hard drive. The other one in yellow, or goldish yellow, is a Western Digital 10 terabyte gold. The current image size for the system build is about 7 terabytes. So about 7 terabytes worth of games. Over here is our power supply. This is actually mounted via Velcro, so I can pull it out if I need to. Over here are our power strips. You have your primary power strip, which is connected to the power plug I talked about earlier. That's down here. This is a secondary, which I can turn on and off here, and that will actually control the fan up top and the marquee light. But I also have control individually on the marquee light itself. Turn this back on. So that's pretty much the wiring down here. There's the back plate for the monitor to hold the monitor up, and then your wires here, which are connected to the speakers, which I'll show you right now. So I'll go ahead and close this up and lock it. So we can close this, and then we can turn it and lock it. Over here, you can see, if I bend down and look up, you can see 3 speakers. Most cabinets usually have 1 speaker. Sometimes they have 2. This actually has 3. So you can see there you have your left and right channel, as well as a center channel tweeter. So really good sound coming off of the game system. One thing to notice, my old home theater center channel is what these speakers actually are. So I upgraded my center channel a few years back, and the speakers that are in this cabinet are actually my old home theater center channel speakers. So they're actually really good. So now we'll take a look, and we can see the system is currently in what's called a track mode. So it's just scrolling through different games to try to get you to come and play. So right now what I'll do is I'll turn on the amp so we can hear it. So we'll switch that on. This lights up blue. And then we'll take the volume and turn it up a little bit. So you can see it's scrolling through different games on Sega Genesis. And it does that automatically after 1 minute. So if it's not being used, after 1 minute it'll start scrolling through games on its own. But I'm going to go in and kind of show you all the systems that it has. So again, games for Windows. Pinball Effects 2. Pinball Effects 3. PlayStation 1. PlayStation Portable. PlayStation Portable Minis. Super Nintendo. Genre style now, old school games. Beat 'em up games. Run and gun. Fight Club. Shoot 'em ups. Race Driver. 3D Gamer. Sports Gamer. Dreamcast console. Game Boy Advanced. Handheld. Japanese Atomic Wave. Japanese Naomi. Atari Classics. Capcom, now these are manufacturers. Cave. Data East. Irem. Your Konami Midway Classics. These have your Namco Classics. Your Neo Geo, which has everybody's favorite Metal Slug game. Nintendo Classics. Sega Classics. SNK Classics, like POW. Taito Classics, your Conan the Barbarian from the 80s. Really old Williams Classics. You have settings, and then you have your standard arcade, which is all the arcade games. This is roughly about 2,200 games total, something like that. And then your arcade classics. This would be your best of the arcade. So if I go into arcade here, you can kind of see, then I can use the stick up and down. I can scroll through all the different games. And you can see the scrolling wheel on the side. If I scroll here, you can also see your letters here. If you use these two buttons here, you can actually page up, page down on the individual letters themselves. So you can see there, I can switch to D, E, F, or you can just use the stick and scroll. To get out of this section, just move the stick over to left or right, and it'll go to the next section. If we go to PC games, pinball games. See, they're all pinball. So that's pretty much the system. I'm real happy with it. It's not done. I mean, technically it's done, but I'm always going to be continuing to add to it and tweak it. I'm still waiting for the marquee art, and then I'm also doing slide vinyl art. But right now, we just have to wait until we can get out and get that done. But that's the system.